I want to start off by echoing what Senator Tester said earlier, and I will tell you, as chair of the Appropriations Committee, I appreciate all of you coming before us today, but on issues such as this, especially for senators whose states were affected, I expect this administration to be timely and straightforward with information. And more broadly, as chair, along with Vice Chair Collins, I further expect a very robust dialogue with the administration, including the Pentagon and the Joint Chiefs, and through that dialogue, it is my priority to have information shared in a timely fashion to make sure that all the members of this Appropriations Committee have a solid handle on matters impacting this committee and this country. So I want to make sure you all knew that before we started questioning. Let me ask you, one of the aspects of this situation that really concerns me is when you became aware that the surveillance balloon had entered our airspace. It seems to me it is critical we are immediately identifying when something like this balloon is approaching or has crossed into the United States so we can act quickly and appropriately. And that is, of course, especially important for states on the West Coast, many on this committee, who could be the first impacted by these threats. So I want to know, as you tracked this balloon approaching over Alaska, when did you determine the threat, and did you have constant surveillance for the entire time it was in the U.S. and Canadian airspace?
Senator, thank you very much for your question, and it is absolutely our intent to provide timely information to this subcommittee and to Congress as a whole. On Saturday, January 28th, we tracked through NORAD that the balloon was entering U.S. Air Defense Identification Zone and U.S. airspace in Alaska. And from there, NORAD had custody, and we were tracking it across the—
Did you have constant surveillance at the entire time of the balloon was
Yes,
coming
Senator.
across? Okay. Let me ask you, do you think there's any need for additional systems or investments to protect against these high-altitude surveillance threats?
Senator, thank you. I'm happy to start there and perhaps can turn to Vice Admiral Joyner as well. As General Van Herk has mentioned, the department continues to be acutely aware of the need to enhance persistent surveillance of the aerospace and maritime approaches to North America. To that end, we are working closely with our Canadian allies to modernize NORAD surveillance capabilities paced to the current and future geopolitical environment. In the near term, we are taking steps with Canada to augment the existing North Warning System, including development of a new system of sensors called Crossbow that will enhance NORAD's ability to detect approaching airborne threats. Longer-term modernization efforts include, but are not limited to, the construction of the over-the-horizon radars in both the United States and Canada to augment the existing North Warning System and enhance NORAD's ability to perform its aerospace warning, control, and maritime warning missions. Vice Admiral Joyner?
Senator, we continue to modernize the existing systems that we have, so that's been an effort that's been ongoing in conjunction with this committee. In 23, significant investments in both the space architecture, which we think is key for future monitoring and understanding of our environment, both within the United States, overseas, and abroad. So, and then undersea as well, investments have been made as well to counter other threats. In integrated air and cruise missile defense, the committees and the Congress directed us to put forward an acquisition lead, and Air Force is now the acquisition lead for that effort. They're moving forward out on that mission. Army has the counter-UAS, and then the overall systems and the modernization of the over-the-horizon radars will enhance our ability to look long range and give us persistent forward look in partnership with our northern neighbors, NORAD, NORTHCOM. So the modernization is important. The existing systems can meet our needs. We continue to maintain and invest in maintaining those systems as we modernize.
Well, it is really important that we all have a real clear handle on incidents like this and full situational awareness over West Coast states or the Pacific. So I know we're in open session today, but I hope all of you can brief me and my office separately on the ability and capability to make sure we can adequately identify and determine threats before they are over the U.S. territory. And let me just say this, this incident is greatly concerning to me, not just because of the breach of our airspace, but what it signals about our relationship with China, the strength of our diplomacy, and really the state of our domestic capabilities. This Appropriations Committee is going to be taking a very serious look at our approach to our relationship with China, and I look forward to working with Senator Collins and with our colleagues here on this subcommittee and others on that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.